The words we say every day can have serious impacts. And as we continue our conversation on inequalities, we look at the role our language plays. Sean Gallagher showing us why we may want to think twice before opening our mouths.
The old phrase, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you, isn't exactly true. Those words that we use every single day carry a lot more weight for certain people than others. But that goes a lot deeper than just the N-word.
The overt images may not be there, but there's always these subtle ones that are there and that it upsets people.
Dr. Cedric Burrows is an English professor at Marquette University focusing on African-American cultural rhetoric. He says there are many common phrases we use every day that have strong racial ties.
The word thug, for example, that's become more common. You have gospel music to refer to black sacred music. And then for white music, it's called Christian music. Another one is uppity. I've heard that a lot. If you go in a neighborhood and the street is Martin Luther King Drive, it's going to be in a black neighborhood. It's almost like this idea that because you can't say the N-word, that this is a replacement for it.
Dr. Burrows says these words in certain tones have lost their true definition, like those labeling current protests for George Floyd as riots, as opposed to colonial times when the Boston Tea Party was considered a rebellion. There's a negative and positive correlation between those two words. He says coded words like these are meant to keep African Americans suppressed.
When people say hood, it's very hood or very ghetto, it really means they're trying to say it's very black. That's another way of trying to say something without overtly saying it.
Even seemingly innocent phrases like peanut gallery have a troubled past.
Whites would sit at the bottom of the theater and blacks usually were at the top, and so that had a history where that's where African Americans would sit.
Then there's the more egregious word choices. Words like lynching carry very serious racial undertones. Just last month, while defending a Menominee Falls trustee's insensitive comments on Facebook, a woman compared the backlash against him to a lynching.
If we are going to hold him accountable and lynch him in the nearest tree, then we might as well start holding everybody else on this village board.
She later apologized. The Milwaukee Fire Department is currently investigating after someone hung a brown figurine by a ribbon inside the department. This is where the two words Burrows talked about come together.
When a lot of black people were lynched, they actually would use that term uppity. They were acting uppity, that they didn't know their place. It's a poor choice of words. It's a case where people should be aware that those words do have racial history behind them, and people are just like, oh, I don't think so. But I'm like, but people should know better than saying those words, that those words are very loaded and very racialized as well.
And there are phrases Burrows says are meant to instill a fear of black people.
The idea of tough on crime, we have to protect ourselves, and there's always the idea of like protect ourselves from who. It's a cultural understanding that you don't have to actually say it, but people know what you're talking about.
Burrows says he frequently has conversations with people about their word choice to help them better understand.
When I hear that, it's kind of like I hear their history. They may not realize it, but that's when we'll have to explain to them the whole dynamics behind it, because they're thinking that it's a matter of me being too stiff or formal. But then I say, well, this is my background.
Dr. Burrows hopes the current social justice movement can include an education about the weight of words. He says with the amount of information we have at our fingertips, there's no excuse to use any racially charged phrases or words. In Milwaukee, Sean Gallagher, TMJ4 News.